Hey guys, it is Jenna, what is up, and welcome back to the Board Game Garden. Today, you guys can tell by the title that we are starting some of my top 10s of 2022. I'm going to be doing a few of these. I feel like this is something that you often see with board game content creators. I've been obsessed with watching all of my favorite content creators, top 10 games of 2022, top 10 solo games of 2022, most anticipated for 2023. So I will be doing all of those videos. You guys can tell by the title today that we're going to be doing my top solo games of 2022. I will preface this by saying these are not all games that were released in 2022. Because I started solo gaming in 2022, I started solo gaming around like May, June of 2022, so I've gotten quite a few months of solo gaming, and I really wanted to chat about the ones that I have liked the most for the year. So we are going to be counting down from 10 all the way to 1. I do have a few, I think about 4 different honorable mentions for different reasons, or actually they're all for the same reason for the most part, but we're going to be getting into those, and then we'll get into my top 10, and then I will mention at the end of this video some still in my collection that I want to play solo and some that I'm wanting to get in the future playing solo. So yes, without further ado, if you guys want to see my top 10 solo games of 2022, then just keep on watching. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoy. Comment down below what your favorite solo game of 2022 was, and also subscribe if you have yet to do so. We'd love to have you here in the Board Game Garden. Let me know what in the Board Game Garden you would be. And yeah, let's get into this video, shall we? Okay, so starting off with the 4 honorable mentions, the first one that I want to mention is the wonderful Flamecraft. I love this game so much, but it didn't quite make the list because I've only played this once so far. So this is mainly the reason why a lot of these are in the honorable mention section, is because I've only played them once, and I feel like I can't really put them into a top 10 unless I've played them multiple times, specifically solo. So Flamecraft goes into that category where I've played it once solo and I really enjoyed it, and I want to play it more. So I really wanted to mention it. It is published by Cardboard Alchemy as well as Lucky Duck Games, and it's designed by Manny Vega, and it is just a fantastic game where I've chatted about it before, but you are I believe helping artisan dragons or something along those lines, and you're placing a dragon at a shop. You are getting resources in order to enchant shops later in the game to get victory points. You're also firing off dragons, so each of the different types of dragons have different abilities, and it is just very fun and very unique with like all of the shops and like going to each of the shops and stuff. I really enjoy that part of it. So yes, that is Flamecraft. Absolutely adorable art, and just fun overall as a solo experience. It's pretty easy solo experience. You are just flipping over one of the dragons, and whatever type of dragon it is, that's the dragon that you're going to be placing, kind of representing another player. And then you're also taking one of the enchantments. So it's kind of just making the game go a little bit quicker, and you're under a time constraint. So really enjoy that. And it's one of the solo games where you are trying to beat your own high score, but then they also do have a bunch of different achievements that you can get in the back of the rule book, which is a lot of fun. I love when solo variants or games just have those like solo achievements or solo goals that you're going for. Love that. So yes, Flamecraft is an honorable mention, and I'm very excited to play it more in 2023 solo, and also multiplayer, to be honest, because it's very fun. Next up in the category of honorable mention is one that I played once solo, and I have yet to play it again solo, and it's been a very long time, and I really need to get this to the table again, and that is Stardew Valley, the board game. I enjoyed this game so much. I actually played this pretty early on when I started to stream solo over on Twitch. I always have our Twitch channel down below. As of right now for 2023, we're playing 2-player games on Tuesdays. Sometimes Sometimes I will also be playing solo, and then I do have a solo Sunday every single Sunday. So like I mentioned, I did play this pretty early on when I started streaming solo over on Twitch, and I really enjoyed it. It is a cooperative game of Stardew Valley, very similar to the video game where you are trying to achieve some goals that your grandpa has given you, and then you're also trying to build up the community center. I think that's what it's called. It's been a while since I played the video game as well, but it just gives the vibes of Stardew Valley and just those very just chill, going around, doing different things to try to work up to the goals that you are trying to achieve. And it is a cooperative game, like I said, so it works out really nicely as a solo game where you're just going around and trying to achieve your goals in different ways. And then obviously if you play it multiplayer, it's just more people going around and trying to achieve the same goals. So like all together. So yes, Stardew Valley, the board game, is one that I need to play more in 2023 and hopefully get it to the table multiplayer as well. But honestly, if this just ends up being a solo only game for me, I am totally okay with that. It is quite the challenging game because there is a little bit of luck in this game with some dice rolls and certain cards coming up and stuff like that to be able to achieve your goals. But it's a really fun challenge, and I lost the first time that I played it, so I really need to get it to the table again solo so that I can hopefully be a little bit more successful and beat the game. So yes, that is Stardew Valley, the board game. Another one that I need to play more in 2023. Okay, so the other two I actually don't have physically with me here, but they are behind me, and they were actually two games that I've only played once each as well, and I played them technically after 2022 was over. The first one is Merchants of the Dark Road. This was my favorite game that was released in 2022 for multiplayer, but I finally was able to play it solo. It was on January 1st, so technically it was in 2023, but that one I played. I'm not going to talk too much about how I felt about it because I am going to talk about that at the end of January for like my monthly wrap up. And then just yesterday, I think it was January 3rd or 4th, I played Genotype solo, which is just over here. So I will talk about that at the end of January as well. Those were the honorable mentions that I wanted to quickly chat about, but without further ado, I've already said that, but without further ado, let's get into the top 10. All right, so starting with number 10, my number 10 favorite solo board game, or just board game to solo, because these are not all necessarily solo only games. A lot of these, or I think actually all of these, can be played multiplayer. It's just that I really enjoyed them solo, and they all have great solo variants. But number 10 is Tiny Towns. I have chatted about Tiny Towns a few times here on the channel, but Tiny Towns is published by AEG and designed by Peter McPherson, I believe. Yes. And in Tiny Towns, you are drafting cubes onto a little board, which is your town, your tiny town. And I think it's like a 4x4. I think it's a 4x4 or a 5x5. I think it's a 4x4. Anyways, you're drafting those cubes and placing them on your 4x4 town in different configurations that you need to build specific buildings, and each building is going to score you in different ways based off of what is adjacent to it and what's in like its lines and stuff like that. And each card has a different configuration of what the cubes need to be in. Once you have those cubes in that specific configuration, you take off the cubes, you put that building on one of the spots that the cubes are in, and then you score for like different buildings and stuff. And there are a bunch of different buildings that you can switch between, so it's always nice to change up how the game plays, or not how the game plays, but how the game scores and the different cards and variation there. So really, really enjoy that. It is so easy to play solo. This is one game that I honestly can say that I enjoy playing solo more than I do multiplayer. With Tiny Towns multiplayer, you are having to take the cubes that other people are saying. So on each player's turn, they will say, everyone pick up a glass, and you have to pick up a glass and decide where that's going to go. So it gives the game a little bit more of a challenge, which I do, enjoy. Like, I love a good challenge, but honestly, I get a little bit frustrated with that because I'm the type of person that always wants everything to work out and everything to be my decision. So I think that's why I enjoy solo games so much. And when like someone says like, oh, pick up a brick, and I'm like, I do not need brick. I get very frustrated with that. So with Tiny Towns solo, you are just deciding yourself between 3 different colors, because you have these cards that you're flipping, and you can decide one of the 3 that are face up, and then you pick that cube. So there's still a little bit of challenge trying to work with the 3 that are face up, but not necessarily having to go by what everyone is saying. So yes, that is why I enjoy Tiny Towns solo so much. It is such an incredible game solo. And there is 2 expansions that I have still yet to purchase, but I do think that I want to bite the bullet. I still don't know if that's a correct saying. I said that in the last video and I still don't know, but I am going to get them eventually and try them out. But that is Tiny Towns, my number 10 favorite solo game of 2022. Moving into number 9. This is, again, a game that has a few expansions that I really want to get. I find it really difficult to push myself to buy expansions. Someone please let me know if this is something that you deal with. I just always go into a board game store and I look at all of the games and I see an expansion or a few expansions that I really want, and I always end up saying, no, I don't need the expansion. I want to get this entirely new game. So it's just something I deal with, but I need to start not getting so many new games and getting expansions for games that I absolutely love and know that I'm going to play. But the game that I am talking about in my number 9 favorite solo game of 2022 is Parks. This is published by Keymaster Games and designed by Henry Audubon. And this is such a wonderful game. It just brings me so much joy and comfort. Basically, you are going on a hike. You're going on a one-way trail, so you can only go forward, you can never go back. You are collecting resources to then purchase parks, and you can also get gear, which kind of gives you discounts and different things to help you with going to the parks and stuff like that. And the parks give you victory points, and you're trying to get as many victory points. You can take pictures to get additional victory points. But in the solo variant, it's really easy. You're just playing against an AI, and I believe there is another like fan-made solo variant that I want to try. I forget what it's called, but I'll put it somewhere on the screen so you guys know. But there is the solo variant that comes in the game where basically the hiker, the AI hiker, is just taking spots that you can't go to, blocking spaces that you may want to go to, and you just have to work around that. So it's really easy to implement, and I just absolutely love Parks. And again, like I said, there's the Nightfall expansion as well as the Wildlife expansion that I would love to try in the future. But that is my number 9, Parks. Moving on to my number 8, this is the first roll or flip and write. It's not going to be my last, just saying, but it is Cartographers. This is published by Thunderworks Games and designed by Jordi Adden, and this was one of our first flip and writes or roll and writes, and I have loved it so much ever since. There is so much variety in this game, and I just love the puzzle of putting these different Tetris shapes onto a map. Basically, in Cartographers, I've chatted about it quite a lot, but you are a cartographer and you're trying to fill in a map, and on your turn or on everyone's turn, it's all simultaneous if you do play it multiplayer, but you are flipping over a card, and that card will have a polyomino Tetris shaped piece on it that you have to draw onto the map. And sometimes it's going to be one type of terrain that you can use, or you can choose between 2 different ones, and you are drawing that onto the map in order to fulfill some different objectives that you have throughout the game. It goes throughout the seasons, and in the first season you have A and B, the objectives A and B. In the second season you have B and C, C and D, and then D and A. And you are just trying to get as many points as possible by going for those different objectives and those different goals. And it is just such a fantastic game. They have cartographers, but then they also have cartographers heroes, which adds the heroes. And then they also have a bunch of different maps. They have 6 different map packs, which is insane. And in 2023, I do want to work through all 6 of the maps solo. So yes, that is Cartographers, one of my favorite flip and writes. And honestly, one of my favorite, obviously, ones to play solo. So that is Cartographers. My number 7 is going to be one that I've talked about a few different times here on the channel, but it is one that I really enjoy solo. I played it a few times so far, and that is, it's a little bit heavy and it's going to possibly make a noise. No, we're good. That is Viticulture. This is published by Stonemaier Games and designed by Jamie Stegmaier, as well as, I believe, Alan and Morton. I don't know what their last names are, but yes, I love Viticulture so much. Not only multiplayer, but the solo variant in Viticulture is absolutely amazing. I have still yet to play this solo with the Tuscany expansion. We still need to play the Tuscany expansion to begin with, so we need to get that to the table very, very soon. But Viticulture, I love this game of worker placement. This is one of my favorite worker placement games. It is absolutely fantastic. You are running a vineyard and you're trying to fulfill orders of wine. You are harvesting, or like planting crops and then harvesting and then making wine and then fulfilling orders. And you're doing all of this in the solo variant against an AI player that you're just trying to beat their score, and they are covering up certain worker placement spots as you play the game. Super, super easy. You're just flipping a card and then placing the AI workers on those spots, and those are the spots that you can't go. Very, very easy. And then based off of the difficulty that you decide to do, they will have a score that you're just trying to beat. And it is just so, so easy. And I absolutely love the gameplay of Viticulture. So that is my number 7. That is the wonderful Viticulture. And lastly, for the first half of my top 10, we have number 6, and that is Cascadia. I freaking love Cascadia solo. I think this is another one. Actually, no, I really enjoy this one multiplayer as well, but I feel like it just works so, so well as a solo puzzle game. Basically in Cascadia, it is just a great puzzle. I will mention that I really do enjoy Calico as well solo. It didn't quite make the top 10, but actually let me know if you guys would want to see my numbers 11 to 20. Maybe possibly, just a little spoiler, but I am launching a Patreon. I did mention on my last video, but maybe that can be something that I can put up on Patreon for those of you who want to see. But yes, Cascadia is number 6, and I love this puzzle so much. It is infinitely replayable and always just so much fun. I don't know what it is, but basically in Cascadia you are creating a habitat of a bunch of different terrain types, and each terrain type you are going to be scoring for how large you can make those groups of terrain types, and then each of the tiles do have a specific animal that they need on that tile, and on your turn you are getting a hexagon tile as well as a animal token. You're placing the hexagon tile in your habitat and then placing an animal token on one of the hexagon tiles. It doesn't necessarily need to be the one that you just placed. And each type of animal is going to score in different ways. And then, like I said, you're going to be scoring for the groups of habitat tiles. So it's just such a fantastic puzzle that, like I said, I can just play over and over again and it never gets boring. So it is great. It is absolutely beautiful. And it's one of the easiest of these top 10 to get to the table. So I will say that. This is one that I can just grab, take upstairs with me, put on the coffee table, put on some music, grab a cup of tea, and play this. This is also another one that has a bunch of different goals and a bunch of achievements that you're trying to do in the back of the rule book. Calico also has that as well, so it's really, really fun to open to that page and see what of them you can achieve. So yes, that is Cascadia. I don't think I mentioned this is published by AEG and Flat Out Games, and it's designed by Randy Flynn. So that is Cascadia. Moving into the top 5 solo games. Number 5 is indeed another roll and write. This is actually a roll and write, and that is Three Sisters. This is designed by Matt Riddle and Ben Pinchback, and it is published by Motor City Gameworks and also 25th Century Games, and I love Three Sisters very, very much. There is another one called Fleet the Dice Game, which was actually the one that came before this. I prefer this theming. They are both very similar. I have just not played Fleet the Dice game solo yet, but I have played Three Sisters multiple times solo, and the solo variant in this one is one of my favorites solely because you are playing against Farmer Edith, and I just love Farmer Edith. As much as I hate her, I also love her, but she is just trying to mess with your garden. Oh, and she gets to be quite the pain. But basically in this game, you have a bunch of dice, and you also have this little board that is a rondelle. You roll the dice, and then you place the dice in ascending order. If there's 2 4s, they will go on the same spot, and you're putting them in ascending order around the rondelle. And then you are going to be drafting dice, and the pip number that you draft is where you fill in stuff in that specific garden number, and then wherever that die was on the rondelle, you also do the action that is on the board, and that's each turn you're getting to do 2 actions, and the actions can be something from filling in something in your tool shed, you can fill in something in a garden. There are like perennials that get you additional things throughout the game. This is one of the crunchier. If you know, you know. I love the word crunchy. But it's one of the crunchier roll and writes that I have, and I just love the combos and all of the different things that you can kind of focus on in this game. There is even like an orchard. Why does that sound weird? Orchard, and then there's also apiary as well, which is like the bees and stuff. I typically don't go for the apiary and stuff, but I really need to try a game where I go full on apiary, because I feel like, is that even the right word? Apiary? Why do things sound different right now? I don't know. I'm going crazy. Anyways, Three Sisters is my number 5. Love it very, very much. It is such a fantastic solo game. Just grabbing a paper and pencil and getting your dice in that board and then just playing a solo game. It's very fun. So that is my number 5, Three Sisters. Number 4 is a game that I kind of had to push myself to play solo, but I am so, so happy that I did. I've played this a few times solo, and I've been falling more and more in love with this game. I've been playing it a little bit on BGA as well. Mind you, that is multiplayer, but it just makes me want to play this solo again. It's been a little bit since I've played it, but that is quite the hefty game. That is Lost Ruins of Arnak. This is published by CGE and designed by Min and Elwyn, and this is a very fun game about exploration and research, and I just love the puzzle of trying to figure out how to go up that research track as quick as possible and going and exploring. There is a lot of deck building in this game, as well as a little bit of explorative worker placement. I guess that's what it's worker placement, but you're also going and taking those workers and exploring, which is always fun. And yeah, like I said, I just love the puzzle of trying to get up that research track and get the specific resources that you need to go up that track. So it is just very fun. The solo variant in this is, again, super, super easy. I was a little bit scared. For some reason, I always scare myself off because I think that the solo variants are going to be super challenging and I'm not going to be able to figure it out. And this one ended up being a lot easier than I thought. So I was really, really happy that I pushed myself to play this. But basically the AI is just going to be flipping over a tile, and that's going to be where the worker goes, or they might grab a card or something like that. So it's really easy to just flip a tile, figure out what they want to do, and then move back to your turn and focus on what you're doing. So that's always what I love in a solo variant, and this is just such a fantastic game, and I've been obsessed with it recently. That is Lost Ruins of Arnak. I will mention as well that there is a solo campaign that they have. I believe in the back of the rule book it does have a link to where you can go and get the solo campaign, so it's one that I want to explore hopefully in 2023. So that is Lost Ruins of Arnak, number 4. Moving into the top 3. These are 3 games that I love so, so much. But number 3 is probably one that you guys, maybe you might be surprised by this, I'm not sure. But that is the Isle of Cats. I have actually only played the Isle of Cats solo so far. Actually, no, that's a lie. I've played it multiplayer on BGA, but I've only played this physical copy solo. And I am okay with that because I love this game solo so much. It is so much fun. Frank West, which by the way, this is published by the City of Kings. I believe that is it. And then it is designed by Frank West. And Frank has done a fantastic job in making this solo variant. I am just obsessed with the way that the solo variant works, where basically the story of the Isle of Cats is that there is an island, there is a bad guy coming to the island, and he's going to destroy the island, and you are trying to get as many cats off the island onto your boat as possible and score for those cats. And in the solo variant, your sister has snuck aboard and she's trying to take credit for all of the things that you're doing. So in the solo variant, she has some objectives that if it happens, those specific objectives, if they happen, she's going to get points for them. So it's going to be based off of what you're doing. And then also each round, a different color cat is going to be flipped. And that is based off of like how soon the cat gets flipped is how many points your sister is going to get. So for example, if a purple cat, Jenna, you're talking too fast again. If a purple cat gets flipped first, your sister will get 5 points for every purple cat on your boat. And then the second color, she'll get 4 points, third color, 3, 2, and 1. So you're kind of basing what you're putting on your boat on what colored cats are coming up and kind of hoping that if you put a yellow cat on it, it's going to be one of the last ones that get flipped, but you never know. And it is just so much fun trying to fill up that boat and try to have, you know, not very many empty spaces and filling as many spaces as possible. It is just such a good solo variant. I love the like sister thing. It's fun. So that is the Isle of Cats. I will say that I just today picked up the Isle of Cats Explore and Draw, so I'm excited to explore that one as well. I've heard that a lot of people prefer that over this one, but I don't know. I really like this one. I love how like placing the tiles and stuff. I really love the feel of that. So that is the Isle of Cats, my number 3. Moving into my number 2. This I believe is the oldest game on the list, and also it is another tile laying game like the Isle of Cats, and that is the Castles of Burgundy. This is the 20th anniversary one. I think in the past I called it the 5th anniversary one, but I was very wrong. It is the 20th anniversary one. And the Castles of Burgundy is published by Ravensburger and Aaliyah, and it's designed by Stefan Feld. And this solo variant, specifically the solo variant, is so much fun. I love having to, basically in the Castles of Burgundy solo variant, you have to, instead of getting the most points, you're not even worried about the points. Basically the points will just allow you at certain points to get free actions, and your main goal for the solo variant in the Castles of Burgundy is to fill your entire duchy. If you do not fill your entire duchy by the end of the game, you lose. So it is such a fun puzzle to do that. It's very different feeling than the multiplayer. Your goal is completely different, and I just really enjoy that. I love Castles of Burgundy multiplayer, so when I finally pushed myself to play it solo, I was so happy that I did. I was a little bit scared to play this solo, but once I played the Castles of Burgundy multiplayer enough, I've played it a ton on BGA multiplayer, I grasped the strategy and really how to play. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna push myself, we are gonna play this solo, and I did. So I've played this version a few times. I also was lucky enough to get one of the prototypes of the deluxe version, and I'm so excited to receive the like final copy in 2023. You guys have no idea. I think Castles of Burgundy is quickly skyrocketing to one of my favorite games. I don't know what happened, but I just started playing this so much, and I just love the gameplay of Castles of Burgundy. So anyways, yes, I freaking loved playing this solo in 2022, and I cannot wait to play it more solo in 2022. So that is the Castles of Burgundy. I am making a very sketchy board game pile over here. I guess I didn't really explain what the Castles of Burgundy is and how it plays, but basically it is a tile laying game. On your turn, you're rolling 2 dice, and those 2 dice are your 2 actions for your turn. You can either, with those numbers that you rolled, grab a tile from the board in that specific numbers depot. You can get one of the tiles that you've placed in your storage and place it in your duchy on that specific numbered spot in your duchy. You can also use a die to sell goods to get coins. Coins allow you to purchase more tiles from the middle, and each tile of different colors do different things. And it's just very, very fun. Again, I really love the turns where I'm able to like combo things. I think combos. Is comboing a mechanism? That's a question I might need to ask in the Discord. I do have a Discord if you guys do not know. Definitely go and join the Discord. It's always linked down below. But yeah, I think I might have to ask that in Discord. But I think comboing is like one of my favorite things in board games. But anyways, yes, that is my number 2. That is the Castles of Burgundy. Moving into my number 1 solo game of 2022. If you guys watched my top games of all time, you're not going to be surprised by this. I'm sure everyone knows what's coming. But that is my man Hadrian. Hadrian's Wall is my number 1 game solo in 2022. My number 1 game of all time. Some of you knew, some of you didn't. If you didn't, yes, Hadrian's Wall is my favorite solo game. It is absolutely fantastic. It is published by Garfield Games as well as Renegade Game Studios, and it's designed by Bobby Hill. And this is a flip and worker and right? Flip, worker, and right. Flip, gain, worker, and right. There we go. Gain workers and right. Basically, in Hadrian's Wall, you are flipping a card, and that card will show you a bunch of workers and resources that you will get that round, and then you are using those different colored workers and resources to do different things on 2 different sheets. One sheet is going to be the protection or the wall of your village, and then the other sheet is your village. There's like different buildings and stuff. There's temples and markets and different things. I kind of refer to the village sheet as like the mini game sheet, because you're not necessarily doing everything on that sheet. You're not even necessarily doing everything on the like protection sheet either, but it's really fun. I've actually been going through the solo campaign of Hadrian's Wall as well, and it really pushes you to try different things. And I've really been enjoying that, because whenever I played Hadrian's Wall before, I always kind of went for like the same strategy. I went for kind of the same things on like the mini games. I never went for certain things. So with the solo variant, it's kind of been pushing me to use the things that I would normally not, or like go for the things I would normally not. So yes, like I was saying, you use those resources on different tracks, you scratch out things, and then once you get to certain points on tracks, you get more resources, and during a round, you're just trying to use and gain as many resources to do as much as possible. The comboing in this game, I think, is what I really enjoy. It is just so satisfying to try to do as much as possible. And then at the end of the round, you do have a combat phase kind of thing where you'll flip some more cards, and those are going to be the spots of your wall that is going to get hit. And if you don't have enough protection on those spots, you will get some negative points that you have the opportunity to mitigate throughout the game. And yeah, you're just trying to go up on a bunch of different tracks, and ooh, it is just the crunchiest of crunchiest, and I love it very much. So that is my number 1 solo game of 2022, and those are my top 10 solo games. If you guys have any recommendations based off of the 10 that I showed you guys today, please leave them down below. I would love to know. But I do have some here that I've listed off in my planner that I still want to play that are in my collection. So if you were watching this and you were wondering like, oh, why isn't this on her list? Why isn't this on her list? It might be because I just haven't played it solo yet. So in our collection, I still need to play Everdell solo. I still need to play Wingspan. Scythe, I still want to play solo. Above and Below is one of my favorite games, and I believe there is a solo variant on BGG, so I still want to play that. We also have Architects, Viscounts, and now Paladins of the West Kingdom. I would love to play all 3 of those solo. Arc Nova, Concordia, I still want to get the Solitaria expansion to play it solo. Horrified, My Little Pony deck building game I want to play. I have a few different Button Shy games that I still want to play. I have Rove and Unsurmountable that I still need to play solo. They are solo only games, so just I need to play them. The Search for Planet X, as well as Seize the Bean. Those are all of the different games that we have in our collection already that I really want to play solo. There's obviously a lot more games out there that I want to play solo as well, so this list could go on, but those are just some that we already have in our collection that I would love to get to the table solo. But yeah, like I said, if you guys have any other recommendations, please leave them down below. In 2023, I do want to get a ton more games played solo so that I can give you guys all of the solo content. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, give this video a big thumbs up. Also, hit that subscribe button if you are not part of the garden yet. We would love to have you. I am going to be doing a lot more solo content in 2023. I do want to do some like solo playthroughs and different things like that. I do solo playthroughs over on Twitch, so if you guys want to go and follow me over there, I always have the link down below. Also, join the Discord if you want to come and chat about board games with us. We'd love to have you there, and yeah, I love you guys so much. Remember, you're somebody's reason to smile, and I will see you in the next board game video. Bye, friends!